So my proposal is that, why don't we have an achieved life? This is an 8K. It's an Everest, which that requires planning, coordination, team, preparation. And if you have an achieved life, so you have a useful professional life and personal life, here you put little and you get everything, because life is unfair. Make a note on that, make a tweet and book with your psychologist or your therapist. Life is unfair. If you put in business, let's bring this to business. You go to business and you have an employee of yours that gives little effort, little commitment. What is the reward that person has? Little? No, it's nothing. Actually, it's a pain. If you have an employee that it's average, what is the reward that average employee receives? Is it average? No, it's poor. If you have somebody that goes all the way up and it becomes a pretty good team member and employee, receives a pretty good compensation, reward, recognition? No, gets average. And only there is this little thing, that it's when you are outstanding, you receive everything. So I'd like you to reflect upon where I am in this imaginary map, because I'd like us to work on that. That each of you work on that. What does it mean to me? What can I do about it? Do you have it already? Look, ooh, what a silence. Now you need a drink, huh? Some of you, now I need that drink from last night. You have it already? With this silence, we better wake up to the person on your right or your left and say, after you wake up gently, I got it. I got my number. Come on, say it. You don't need to say the number, just say, I've got my number. I've got my coordinates. Okay, some of you want to disclose your number and get some cheap therapy now. So what can I do? All right. So now, the way that we experience life, and as I said, I will be moving from life to leadership, and I see it so intimately connected. It's that you have a gold medal in life if you have this achieved life, which is in both dimensions. I will go into that. By the way, what does it mean? We'll go into that. That will be gold. Silver is when you get in your personal dimension higher than your professional. And it will be bronze when professionally you thrive, but personally you are just average. Why do you think is that? Sorry about this serious question. Why do you think is that?
You get to live more years than you work.
Well, that could be one. So your name was?
Adrian.
Adrian is saying that you're going to live longer than your professional career. So that's an interesting one. I never heard that way, but you think very thoroughly. Very well done. What else could it be? Thank you.
Is it because how you feel if you're not living a happy personal life is going to impact on how you are?
Absolutely. That's the second thing. What else? Because in business, there are rules. And in life, we don't have rules. We don't know how to win the game of life. And in business, we know. We know, we may not. But we know the rules to win the game of business. But to win the game of life, we don't know. We don't know what is the purpose of the game. If I would ask you, why is life, what is the world better because you exist? What is the answer to that question? Don't feel bad about it. 99% of the people says, I don't even understand the question, not that I don't know the answer. So then we have plenty of rules on what needs to happen. for you to have a fulfilled life. Thousands of rules, and they are in conflict. And sometimes you follow the rules and you get pain. Sometimes you cheat in life, so you break the rules and you get the reward. And you play that with 6-7 billion other people, which don't know the purpose, have millions of rules, they are in conflict. And then we leave it as a life and death kind of game. That's why winning the personal dimension, so to speak, is silver. Make sense? They obviously one feed each other, and they're interconnected. But we have the illusion, and we will research, we will investigate together, and where is that coming from? So that you can reinforce or change some, or adjust some areas, which is to get to and achieve life. The first one that we need to master, conquer, is the personal one. And as you rightly say, you bring along yourself to the business, so to speak. That's true. But we focus on winning the one in the business because it's an easier, much easier one to win.
Going back to Magda's point about a balanced life, isn't there another diagonal from that you draw from achieve life down to the corner? Is that, you have got a balance. It may not be 10 and 10, it could be 8 and 8 or 7 and 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Think about this is conceptual. Think about the way that it helps you. That's the thing. The thing is, whatever my leadership is, how do I bring it to the next level? Did we touch in Madrid how we resolve problems? I could not remember if we touched on that. We touched so many things because we are so active asking questions, and I lost track. I have 1,000 slides and I use 3 only. The rest. Did we touch on how we resolve problems in life? We'll touch on that later on because it responds to that opposite diagonal, which is how do I invert that diagonal in the one that I thrive and I grow up as a leader simultaneously on both, which is the way to think about how do I eventually have an achieved life, a legendary one. Good? Is that good? So look at your partner and say, you are an incredible leader. Let's go. Do it. Do it. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So now we have a sense of let's say positioning, and I'd like if we have the time at the end of the session, probably we can touch on how we invert that diagonal the way that you are proposing. But now let me move on. So I'd like to integrate those 4 questions. Where I am. What is my sense of where I am in my life? Second one is where is my organization? Third is who I am in business. Fourth, what moves me and my team, so that we can integrate the 4 and have an integration of the 4. So how many of you remember about my daughter Natasha? You are incredible. Someone else? You too? So 2? Only 2? Oh. There was a phone call, thank you. Yes, there was a phone call.
I can't remember the story.
You don't know the story, but the phone call, you got trapped in a phone call. Oh my God, that phone call. Well, this is for those of you that were not in Madrid. This is let me say the introduction of the phone call, which is, Natasha is my daughter. I have a son of 30, Carlos, and Natasha of 26 now. But it was like 10 years ago. And for those of you, well, I asked you the question, but I'm going to ask you the question again. Particularly fathers. How many times have you had a teenage girl of 15, 16, how many calls do you receive during the year? 0. Thank you. I agree with you. Well, I agree. The same happens to me, between 0 and 1. And the one you have the mother with a gun, saying, you have to call your dad. So, and there I have Natasha, daughter. It says Natasha, daughter. And it sounds, you have the name on the iPhone. And as I was saying, even if I was with a pope in a private session, I would say, sorry, your sanctity, I have to get to deal with some business. And there I have Natasha calling, and she was crying. She was crying. So she never calls me. And there was, I couldn't understand what she was saying. Oh, Daddy, I have a problem. Oh, what happened? What happened? Because fathers are not very good in solving teenage problems. So what happened? What happened? Oh, you don't understand me. I said, no, I don't. But where are you? Is somebody with you? What happened? Are you okay? And boom. And she hangs up. Oh, my God. Say that with me. Come on. Let's do that. Let's just stretch a little bit. Let's just stretch. Stretch in your chair. Let's just stretch a little bit. Ooh, look at that. Go to your right. Now you see the alcohol going through your system again. So shake that up. So now let's do 1. This is 1, 2. Open up now your face in kind of a surprise, like, and then you say, oh my God, oh my God. So that's what happened, oh my God. So first thing you do is what? You have your daughter calling, you call mommy. And mommy's line is? Busy. For how long? For hours, for hours. And then you say, when you have your heart, that it's just, breaking your chest, and then you have a call. Who's calling now? Calling an incoming call. Who's calling? The mother. And the answer, the theme was? You are a disaster. You know that we have a cry. You know about your daughter? No, I don't know. Is she okay? You don't even know if she's okay. And I just don't know. So she tells we're going to have tonight we have a family council. I don't know what is a family council. I went to Wikipedia. What is a family council? What is that thing? I don't know what is that. So basically it's you come for dinner. I said, well, I will come for dinner every evening that I'm home. You come tonight. Okay. And there I go there. And there are the two of them. So Natalia, my wife, and Natasha, with the eyes swollen out of crying rivers, both of them. And they were hugging. Oh, no, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I said, what's going to be okay? What? No, it's okay. And then Natasha, you don't understand me. You don't understand me. I said, but we don't understand what? What do you need? I said, Father, what was the image you have in your mind? What do you think it was? Give me a name. Just give me a name. Give me a name. Just, I picture myself loading a gun. You see, brains, boom, blown away. So just give me a name. If you can talk, just draw an initial in the air. I'll figure that out. And I was there, but just give me a name. Please give me a name. Give me a name. No, you don't understand. I need a therapist. I said, oh my God, let's do that. 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, I have a therapist. He said, what for? I say, you don't understand what I'm going through. I say, I have acne. No. Acne. Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. Now the question that came to mind to me is that in our business and in our lives, is that a natural problem? Is a good problem? A normal problem or an abnormal problem for Natasha? No. If you're a teenager and you have pimples, and it's horrible. That is how she was feeling. But is that normal or abnormal? No. It's normal. Actually, if she had not developed from a hormone standpoint, is that a sign of health or a sign of disease? It's a sign of disease. She would not be developing if she had not developed. Well, the same happens in ourselves and in our business and in our teams, which is we need to understand where are we in the phase of development of our business to know what problems are normal and which ones are abnormal, and act upon those which are abnormal. The normal ones will solve themselves. And usually in our agenda, what tends to happen is that we press upon, that we are acting upon those problems which are normal, and we postpone those which are abnormal. So I learned now let's go to business. This is Natasha. Isn't she pretty? Which is, in using this metaphor, if this is the timeline, so this is when you were born and this is when you die, and in this axis you have flexibility and control. Flexibility, when you are born, how flexible are you? Physically, totally flexible. You're a gum, you are flexible. And mentally, same thing. From a control standpoint, when you are born, how much control you have? 0. The same happens in business, which is when a business is born, you have flexibility at 100. And then you're losing flexibility, and when you die, you become rigid. In terms of control, when you are born, you have zero control. You gain control, but there is a point in time when the control start to go through an inflection, it starts coming down, and at the end of your days, similarly to the human being, you become rigid again, mentally and physically too. You lose control. Make sense? I went a little bit too fast on that. So what does it mean, flexibility in business? This is client focus, creativity, innovation, flexibility, agility, speed, creation, conflict, well-resolved conflict, proximity to market, client centricity, all those elements. Whatever it means for you will be flexibility. We mean flexibility. And what is control? Controls is systems, processes, controls, metrics, everything that we use to control the business. Make sense? Now, what this theory says, that it comes from this beautiful soul called Ichakadesis, that I will give you this material, but I wanted to honor him. I love him. Is that before these two lines crosses, the company or the organization is growing. Growing means maturing, but it's growing. I'm going to use the word growing. Once you pass prime, and I will go to prime because this is going to be centric now, prime, the company is aging, the same as you are aging as a human being. So now, in business, it's about how do I keep the line of flexibility, client focus, or client centricity, being market-driven, innovation, creativity, ahead of controls. And there is a point in time that if you don't act upon the controls not growing beyond supporting the business will start aging naturally. But you can stop, now that you know that, you can stop the aging from aging. You can continue bringing the business to the next level up. So prior to prime, which is maximum flexibility with enough controls and systems to support what? Bringing the next level up to the organization from a client standpoint. If you don't act upon, controls take over, and then the company start aging. And you move your backside to the marketplace and the nose into the business. And we are built up in business to have the face into the marketplace and the backside looking inside.